Good afternoon and welcome to the Small Business Cheerleader podcast. I'm Nicola from NW Marketing and I'm joined by Sukyy from Your Soul Biz. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Great to have you because we're going to talk finances, but we're going to talk feminine flow for your finances, which is something I'm dying to get involved into because we're talking about masculine and feminine in your finances, but how we can especially use our feminine flow to get those finances growing and get control of our finances. So your soul biz works around coaching and small businesses, especially women, and how to work their finances from the get-go to make sure they've got all the right things set up. So introduce yourself and let us know about your soul biz and how you came to be a coach in that realm.
Thank you very much. Well, firstly, I'm super excited to be here. So thank you for having me. So yes, as you said, I am a business coach, but I wasn't always a business coach. So take it back a few years. Firstly, I'm a wife. I'm a mother of 3 young children. And I spent the first 15 years in corporate working as a chartered accountant. So I worked for various firms across Sydney in leadership roles, and it was a great career. It was while I was having children, it gave me a little bit of flexibility, but I really wanted to get into entrepreneurship from a very young age. My family, my dad, my brother all have started their own businesses, and I grew up watching and seeing what that involved and doing the books as well as I was doing my accounting degree. After I had my 3rd baby, who's 2 now, I decided to take that as I never went back after my maternity leave. And I decided to really just embark on setting up a business. And if there was a better time to do it, it was then. So I went straight into something I know best, which was finances. And I set up a CFO consulting business. And I did that for the next 18 months. While I was nursing my baby, I would sort of do people's finances on the side, and it was a great stepping stone into where I wanted to go. But at the same time, it started to feel more and more like I was back in the corporate world, and it still felt very, very masculine. And in terms of the enjoyment factor, it wasn't there as what I thought it would be from starting my own business. So I decided, I decided about 18 months ago then that I wanted to sort of step away from that traditional approach to business and really look at helping women, because all through my career, I've had friends or I've had ex-colleagues that have been setting up their own businesses, and they've always had questions around wanting to know more financial knowledge about whether they're in the startup phase or they were growing. As an accountant, they would always come and ask me questions. And it started to dawn on me that there was an opening in that space, and there was a need for women to translate finance in a way that didn't sound so scary and overwhelming for them. So I launched Your Soul Biz last year, 18 months ago. And my focus is very much on service-based online entrepreneurs, women for the most part. And my mission is to introduce another perspective to growing a business sustainably with profit and with really strong financial knowledge at the same time.
Yeah, I love that because that's what happens. A lot of women start these businesses because they're good at something that they do. And then they also sometimes forget that building a good foundation in your finances will allow you to grow and scale your business long term. And that side of it can seem daunting. It's very masculine energy. It's hustle, it's do, it's make sure things reconcile, make sure you're doing. And I love that you saw that for women, we sometimes need to embrace that feminine side in our finances, that flow. Now, coming on to flow, we know that the framework that you use in your coaching is based around that. And that also brings in everything that you've learned in your journey. So explain what the flow framework is and how you work that with your clients.
I will. So the flow The flow framework came about. It came about quite naturally. I was teaching it without even realizing I had a framework in place with my very first clients, who are actually still with me. And I found that, so basically, it wasn't until earlier this year I decided to actually formalize that into a framework and realize that it wasn't really anything that I'd seen out there before. And as I mentioned before, it's my way of blending the masculine and feminine energy into managing money, financials, and growing not only a profitable business, but like you said, Nicola, something that's sustainable, something that's not leading up to burnout. And it has had some really great feedback with my current clients that I'm working with. And I'll run you through what the flow actually stands for. Yeah. So the F stands for focusing in on your vision and goals. And to me, that's a very clear feminine side. And it's the side I like to approach first with all my clients. It's getting them to understand, well, what is the actual vision that you want to create? Because the business is just a vehicle for that. It's being really clear on your core values. It's ensuring that your business always aligns to these. And it's a journey that I've experienced. Like I said before, when I was working as a CFO consultant, what I was doing wasn't really aligning to my core purpose and what was important to me. So that I really like to focus on that part first, and then it sort of sets us up quite nicely with then going into the more masculine side around, let's set out some clear goals now. And there we blend the masculine around stretching people with financial goals, but also ensuring that the goal setting process again aligns to where they see themselves in their life, and ensuring that, you know, they are incorporating their lifestyle goals into the finance side of things at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly right, because we do the similar thing in vision, mission and core values, because you can't really get a message out there that is authentic and converts without understanding where you sit in those. And your personal core values always come across into your business because you're the visionary for your business. And it's the same with the finances. You need to be setting goals and making sure you're driving your business in the right direction, but it needs to know where it's going. It's a vehicle. It needs to understand that you're on the journey and you know where you want it to go, instead of just setting these unrealistic goals and not really having a reason behind it. So I can see why the focusing would be the first in the framework, because without that, you can't do the rest.
That's 100% right. And I think that traditionally, you know, there's the concept of long 5 to 10 page business plans, but I teach a really lean way of doing that, and ensuring that, you know, there is a blueprint there for you to follow for your business, but what's in that blueprint is a more feminine way that we've approached it, rather than a clear-cut structural way around setting your objectives and goals. That's the F part of the framework. Then we go on to L. So L is very much about learning key structures, processes, and ways to operate your business. So it's very much centered around, okay, well, what are the tools that can help you in your business to really achieve those financial goals? And when I talk about goals, when I talk about tools, I mean things like your budgets and your financial forecasts, and your cash flows. And it's breaking them down in a way that's not as scary for people to tackle. It's ensuring that it aligns to what they can manage personally, but also ensuring that there's a budget, for example, shouldn't be a budget should actually empower you to want to make the right financial decisions. And a budget should make you feel okay about spending $100 on a nice dress during a week. You know, it's just giving them that clarity that it's okay to spend money in your business. There is a structure in place, and I take my clients through a really nice way of setting that all up together.
Yeah. So you're not winging it as such.
Yes, there's a book called Winging It, isn't there?
It's just nice to know that you're actually, and you've got support too in your journey on this way of getting your business finances together, because it can seem very lonely. And if you're trying to set things up, not knowing if they're really, or not knowing if your business is profitable, isn't it? I mean, that's a scary thing. Like you said, a lot of us don't know, have I got enough to spend on this? And unless we have clear places where we can see how we're tracking, we'll never know that. And that's the uncertainty, I think, that a lot of business owners live with daily. And that uncertainty stops them from taking any opportunities that might be available because they don't know if they have that finance available to take it up.
Definitely. And there's some really quick things in this area that, you know, I see changes in the person's mindset straight away. I mean, for example, today with one of my clients, it was just something as simple as ensuring that they are always separating their business and personal expenses in order to be able to see the true picture of the profitability of their business. And it's smaller things like that, just setting up a business bank account, that really sort of change their mindset around having everything squashed together and giving them that clarity, what was business, what was personal. That's just an example that came to mind from a call this morning.
But that's exactly right, because when you think businesses, people can think companies and they have lots of, you know, it's very separate. But when you're starting out, in particular startup phase, a lot of people are sole traders, a lot of people are trading under their own name. They don't even have a separate bank account, like you said, and they don't know what's going in and what's coming out that's separate. And it's very easy to set up these accounts, but some people don't know that, and they just get stuck in that thing of, well, you know, I just have to wing it. And I've known from my personal experience, the best thing I ever did was set up all those separate business accounts. Separate my tax and sure my tax and GST, super for staff, and making sure that I had a profit account as well, that I paid my profit out, so that I wasn't being left hard done by at the end. I knew exactly where all my stuff was. And that's what you're saying in framework of setting up those business practices that people might not be aware of, to make it easier for them to actually know where they stand.
Yes, you're spot on there. And what you're talking about with the allocating out your income as it comes in, it's, you know, around, it's based on the profit first methodology. It doesn't always work with Australian businesses in terms of the percentages they recommend, but I do teach that in a way with my clients around ensuring that as soon as the money comes in, and I give them tools around how to manage their money in terms of splitting it out and ensuring that they're putting money away. Tax is a very big one. Putting money away for their GST liabilities, putting the money away for the profit side of their business, to, you know, to ensure that they're growing their retained earnings at the end of the year as well. And even just being really clear on, well, what's your fixed expenses versus your variable expenses. Just very, very clear definitions without getting too financy and without adding too many technical terms. It's just splitting it out nicely for them to be able to follow a spreadsheet as well that I create for them, so what they can just plug in numbers and see sort of what impact that has to them financially at the same time as well.
That was definitely the best thing that I ever had, probably about 18 months ago, was the spreadsheet of plugging in numbers. And that also what your gross and your net profit is, and understanding what you're benchmarking in the industry. If I could give anyone any advice from a small business with your accounts, is knowing what your net profit margin is and where you should be, and knowing where you currently sit, and then working your way from there. I find that will know if you really are profitable, because of course top line revenue is just a vanity metrics, and
it is 100%.
Kills me. So yeah, I just I tell everyone who starts out now, know your net profit margin. If you can do that, you'll know if you're really profitable or not.
And I love teaching that. I mean, moving away from what the concept of margin, but just being able to just explain to them, this is what actually your gross profit represents, and this is what your net profit represents. And I see those sort of aha moments, particularly clients of mine that are in the service-based industry, them to be able to understand what a cost of sales is, what sort of costs go in there into the actual making of the sale, and what sort of materials and equipment that they automatically think it's just an expense, but showing them the difference between how that impacts your gross profit and then how your net profit is formulated after that. So yeah, it's a really useful, and both in setting a financial forecast, but also reviewing people's accounts, my clients' accounts when we first start our coaching. It's a really it's a really useful way to run through things with them at the same time.
Yeah, and I think that's the benefit and the difference you have in your soul biz is that you are doing that, but you're doing it in a coaching realm as well. So you're providing that ongoing support, that ongoing mentoring, and enabling them to have someone that understands and that can actually help them through the mindset of it too, which I think is very important, because when you have an accountant, a lot of people don't get that other side, and that's where the growth and the aha moments come from, actually having someone be able to, you know, talk to you in that feminine flow and be able to allow you to see how you can access your accounts without it feeling so I don't know, so draining. It become, well, empowering, isn't it? You can actually allow your figures to become empowering once you're in control of what they look like and how they run. And I found that myself in my business. Once you know that, your power changes and your mindset changes into how you react with it. Yeah. So that's your flow. So you've gone through your focus, and you've gone through getting all the logistics ready and all your sheets, etc., in regards to knowing where your figures are. So how do you go? What's the next one on your flow?
So the L that we just went through was learning key tools to increase your profit and ensure it's sustainable. The O is operating with aligned structures, systems, and people. Now, it is something that, as a business starts to grow, I really emphasize to my clients to ensure that they're documenting and identifying their core processes, particularly those that are at that stage where they are experiencing growing pains or even starting to really expand and scale. It's simplifying things, automating things, documenting, ensuring that they've got the right people in their team. So I'm a big believer that you're not meant to be an expert on everything and to stay in your zone of genius. And I've experienced that in my own business. There are many things I outsource in my business, and I coach my clients through the same sort of thing. It's ensuring that they have the right people around them to support them and lift them. And they've got the right team of advisors at the same time as well. So whether that's a great accountant, whether that's a great person to help them with the HR side of things, whether that's a great what was the other one? Even bookkeeping. You know, people would say all bookkeeping is the same, but it's really not. You know, there are different efficiencies and people who just blend in with the business. And again, that also there's quite a feminine approach to the way that I teach that, because having people around you, I feel like some skills can be taught, but they also have to share the same values of your business. And you've just ensuring that those people are the right fit as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed this part of the coaching. And I've seen clients have quite big transformations, almost to the point where they've changed their whole organization structure based on what feels right to them.
Because that's it. I mean, aligned clients, aligned staff, aligned business is where it's at, because that's when you're going to feel the most at ease. And being at ease allows you to be open to opportunities and grow, because like you say, you're in your zone of genius and you know you've got a team that can back you up and has your back. I mean, there can't be anything better than that. And knowing that you're not spending 80 hours a week doing everything, when you're allowed to be in your zone of genius to grow. And that I 100% agree that having the right people in the right places is the only way to allow you to scale a business, and also find out what you can and can't do, because other people with other zones of genius can allow you to be in areas that you didn't think you might have been in if it was only you.
Definitely. And you know, it's not that I'm bad mouthing accountants, because, you know, but it could be that one particular accountant that you're using is brilliant for tax structures and ensuring that, you know, you've got a really tax efficient way of setting up your business, whether you have trusts or the way you manage your superannuation or those sort of things. And it's using that expertise. And maybe the accounting side, somebody else could do. It's just opening people's minds up to how the different experts can really lift your business up. And as I'm learning this, I'm also teaching this at the same time as I'm learning more about from people like Nicola and other entrepreneurs that I've been meeting, the marketing side, the social media side. Um, it's I'm going through the same process of engaging experts to lift my business up and to really automate things quicker so that I can focus on what I like doing, which is teaching and being one-to-one with clients at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because you don't want to be sitting there for maybe 20 hours a week trying to formulate a funnel and a Facebook ad campaign.
No, I'll give that to you.
100%. And the finances, yeah, that can go out of my realm.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's good to understand how it all works. And I think that's the point. If people can understand how it works and how it impacts and then outsource, it allows you to not have that fear that you're away from it and you don't understand it. If you understand how it impacts your business, how it works, you outsource it. It's a bit like that. Who's that lady that makes you declutter stuff where you kiss it? And
then Mary Kondo.
Yeah, Mary Kondo. That's it. It's like you kiss it, you understand it, and you let it go.
Say goodbye. Yeah. That's a really good analogy. I like that.
That's how I look at it. I go, okay, I love it. Like I could sit here and do my bookkeeping because I love bookkeeping, but do I want to do that when I could be doing something else? So my bookkeeper does a great job and she gets annoyed when I reconcile stuff because sometimes I go in there and just press it on zero because it makes me feel good. So
yeah, I love zero. Yep.
Yeah, when they're green,
so user friendly. Yeah.
I press it. Sometimes I just can't help myself. So I think that's where it comes into just exactly finding those people that lift your business up.
That's it.
And then you're into the final one. What's W in the flow framework?
Yeah, so W is really a blend of working on people's growth mindset and confidence. And it's really something that's across the whole, in my 3-month coaching program, it's something we address the whole way through. But I like to separate it out because I myself am finding that mindset is really key. You could know all the strategies and have the best budgets and even have, a really profitable business. But if you're not in the right mindset and you're not ensuring that you're continuously growing and learning at the same time, it can really lead to you spiraling or even burning out at times. So there's a lot of things that go into this W or growth, like growing people's mindset and confidence space. One of the things I really like to do, and I did a live on this just a couple of days ago, was ensuring that people have their own rituals that they follow, their own self rituals that they do outside of their business to ensure they're always replenishing themselves. And I find as women, that's just so important, given everything we have on as mothers, as grandmothers, as just all the different levels and all the different things that are happening in our day-to-day life. It's just ensuring that they take the time out to practice a bit of self-care and to work I give them suggestions on things that could work for them to really help them on that mindset side of things and really empowering them with simple tools that I'm learning at the same time. And whether that's, journal prompts or meditation, guided meditations, those sort of things. I just find it's a really lovely, again, it's the feminine side. It's blending in the creative, desire-driven approach to this whole program. And the other thing with that is also just ensuring that women and my clients are really celebrating their accomplishments. I find it's sometimes so easy to be critical, and I don't know whether you've experienced this, Nicola, but I find that just practicing a bit of gratitude every day, no matter how you do that, doesn't matter, but I just feel that's a really powerful catalyst for achieving success, and it links into their goals. It sort of increases their confidence to be able to know that they can achieve bigger things.
It does. And I just did this myself recently where I actually journaled on what I had achieved in 6 months.
Yes, I remember that actually. Yes, you did.
Because you get so caught up in the thing you're doing right now. And is this thing where you thought this thing would be? And if it may not be your time yet. to shine in that area, but you pushed it for whatever reason and it didn't quite get where you wanted it to go. So you get down on the whole thing. And you have to sometimes, I just sat down with my journal and said, what have I achieved over 6 months? And I had 2 pages filled with stuff I had done.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah.
And stuff I never thought I would have done 12 months before that. So 100% agree that we get into that masculine do, must achieve. Sit back. What have you achieved? How proud are you of yourself and where you are now? And then set yourself goals, but be kind to yourself, and just find those times to just sit back sometimes and just be grateful for, or what you are, where you are, but also be thankful for what you've achieved and the people that have allowed you to do that. Stop being so down on the exactly where you are and why whatever it is didn't get you the result you wanted, and just sometimes go back and look at what you've achieved and talk to the version of you 2 years ago. And what were they saying? What would they say if you told them what you had achieved?
Exactly.
And, would they be surprised? Would they be completely dumbfounded that you have done all of that in 2 years? So sometimes just take a step back. And that's why journaling, I think, is very important. Even if you just do it at times when you are feeling this way, if you're not big on journaling, but at least do it at times when your brain and you're in your mind too much.
There's something to be said just about writing it down. I mean, we can...
Yeah, just do that one exercise alone. If I can give anyone anything, if they're in their mind too much, just do that one exercise alone and be grateful for where you are and what you've achieved. And then reset, set another goal and just smash it. Just go for it. And show up every day. Yeah, that's all you can do. And
that's all you can do. Yeah.
Show up every day.
That's what it all comes down to. It's continuously a learning experience, and not to be so hard on yourself. And when we look back, like you said, that exercise, you realize that you did achieve things that you never thought you could. And for me, it's really just empowering my clients to see that and to notice the potential of what they can achieve going forward. Is to help give them that self-belief that more and more is possible if they want it.
Yeah, and we all need someone like that in our life, whatever it looks like, and whoever that is for you. That's why business coaches, mindset coaches, marketing coaches, anyone, wherever you're struggling in your business or your life, you need somebody in your corner. And whoever and whatever that looks like, you need to search it out. And sometimes when people, it may come to that thing where they just don't feel on top of any of their finances or where their business is going, and they just don't know. And you don't know what you don't know. So you need to go out there and enable yourself, open yourself up to these sorts of opportunities to work with people who have been there, who have seen it, and can give you that guidance. Because over 3 months, I imagine that they would come out completely different than when they went into coaching with you. And that's what I think people need to understand. Coaching is an investment. It's not an expense.
Definitely.
You're investing in the return that you will see at a later date. So that is always an investment, and people need to change the mindset into keep thinking that it's an expense. Because if you are still where you are in a year's time and you haven't grown, how much is that costing you? So you need to always think about that. And that's what I tell people, to start really opening up and looking for opportunities to work with people who can expand them, because expanders are where your business is going to grow. And that's the only way is being open to people, whether it's business groups, coaching, networking events, wherever you go and find people where you need to grow yourself, and find people who are either like you or have done what you have done, and one step ahead. Then at least you'll be able to be inspired, which I think is important too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just to add on that quickly, it's you work out very quickly who you resonate with. And a lot of my clients, although it's a 3-month initial coaching container, have extended with me, and one's working with me for the last 2 years. And it's really just, I feel like I just become part of their circle, like you said, part of the cheerleader support group.
Yeah, everyone needs.
I love that.
Cheerleader. That's what.
Yeah, that's why I love the name of your business as well. It really is.
And that's what I discovered, because working with my clients, everyone needs a cheerleader in their back pocket.
They do, yeah.
To support them and to guide them and to just be there for whatever they need at that time. And that's why the podcast we put together, if you can take snippets of advice from all the different podcasts, that's free, that's value for you to take away, and then do what you want with it. There's always got to be something where you can take something away. And I'd love to think that that's what we've done today for that are listening about how to get that feminine flow into their finances, and how they can work with you with the flow framework to do that. I think every aspect of your framework is so important, and I think that's how they all work together to enable you to come out the other end a changed person. And I think that that can only be a good thing. And now I want people to find you online so they can find out more about your freebie. You've got a great freebie to find out about your one-on-one 3-month coaching packages and your 90-minute packages. How can they find out about all of these? Where's the best place?
The best place is, so the website will have all the information there, links to how you can download the freebie and information on both the 90-minute intensives, pricing, as well as the 3-month coaching program as well. So the website is www.yoursoulbiz.co. And where, from a social media perspective, my main platform is Instagram. So you can find me at your_soul_biz. And yeah, I really enjoyed our conversation today. I think, it's just one of the best things I love about my journey as an entrepreneur is just meeting like-minded people. And you're definitely one of them, Nicola.
Thank you. And I'm the same, because you can only grow by learning from other people's experiences and taking the bits you need to help in your journey. And you can only do that when you're vulnerable. And I'm afraid that's just the way it is these days. And I'm so glad that more people are leaning into that and growing, because we all need it. And especially us, when you're coming to women and soul-led businesses, it's hard. And we do hit brick walls, and we do have family that take over and jump all over us and do whatever it is that they do. When we're busy. But we need to share that with other people who've been through it, to know that it's not just us, we're coming out the other end.
It's okay. Yeah.
It's okay that everyone's doing the same thing, and we're all in the same business. And like you did the other day, sometimes we just need a bath by ourselves where people leave. So if that's all you do this week to give yourself self-care, do that, because that
definitely. Yes.
Is a game changer.
Take a nice bubble bath.
Bubble bath with a glass of wine is a game changer for anybody.
I might be doing one of those tonight, actually.
Perfect. You're in Sydney, you're in lockdown, you're allowed to have as many.
Oh, thank you. Yep.
That's just a no-brainer there. All right, it's been awesome, Sukyy, to talk to you. And obviously I'll be talking to you in our mastermind and continuing on socials, but I want everyone else, please check out, at the very least, the freebie that Sukyy has, and find out how you can help find all the softwares and things you need to set yourself up. And then if you want more, book a 90-minute and go from there. All right, it's been great.
Wonderful.
And I'll see you later on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.